Hello, my name is Barsanti. I'm CEO and founder of StorageLife. If you want to know more, just go to storagelife.com. Okay, cool. Today, it's about building relationships. The game we play, it's really only about one thing, one really important thing, and that's building relationships. You have to be willing to do what most aren't in order to give yourselves the opportunity to win over a seller's trust. This is essential. I think it's easy to overcomplicate what we do, what we're pursuing as self-storage investors, but in its simplest form, we're building relationships. So today, I'm going to my live event. My live event, again, is people across the country we've built relationships with. We've built a community. And because of it, we do more deals than we would do otherwise. So we're going to dive into community, but we're also really going to dive into the idea of building these relationships with these sellers. I want to bring out a few points though. So when I talk to the operators, the best operators I know in the country, they're really good at one thing, and that is, again, they're just building relationships with sellers. Now, I know we love the idea of thinking we can go out and invest in storage and become this successful self-storage investor without necessarily putting in the time. Sometimes I don't think we think enough about that. It's not like it's a preconceived idea of like, hey, I'm gonna just go and find deals. But we start this pursuit, and what happens is we fall short. We're not finding enough opportunity. You guys hear me say it all the time. The lifeline of the self-storage investor's career hinges upon one thing and one thing only, and that is your ability to find off-market opportunity. And on-market opportunity also means building relationships. It's one thing to find the opportunity, but it's another thing to actually make that opportunity come to fruition, right? So yes, the key is finding this opportunity, and once you found the opportunity, now it's time to build relationships. So I had a student call me yesterday. He said, hey, I just got a call from the seller. You remember Kansas City? Talked to him about a year ago. He's coming back. He's in a stressful situation. He came to me because he said I was nice and I showed up at the property and we met in person and we've kept in touch. I've heard this over and over again. All these sellers that I've built relationships with, and because of it, I earned their trust and they sold me their property. When you guys are out there looking for deals, you have to be willing to do what most aren't. Every business runs off marketing and sales. You're a salesman. You're trying to sell yourself to the seller as the best, most qualified buyer. When you talk to these sellers, what are you doing that nobody else is doing? But you have to run your pursuit like a business, not like an investor. So you're a business, marketing and sales, building relationships. It's all the same thing. So when you're talking to these sellers, we know that 7 to 13 times before they even remember you, you talk to them, but you have to be following up with them. You have to be sending letters, maybe postcards, maybe an email follow-up. You have to be consistent. So you're building a name brand recognition. You're building trust. So should we be more professional or should we be more sincere, right? It's the same thing. You're sincere and you're professional, and you're letting the seller know that you mean business, that you mean what you say, that you take their time seriously, that you're not going to waste their time. And when it comes down to it, if they need an offer, you're going to give them an offer. If they need an LOI, you better come up with one. And if you don't have proof of funds, find somebody who does. All we do to get deals is we do what most people are not doing. We go the extra mile. If we have to meet the seller, we will. If we have to make an offer without knowing financials, we will. We've done crazy things. Let me give you some examples. So a gentleman called me. I send out letters, and I was going to St. Louis. I knew I was looking at a property, so I had my VA team send out a bunch of letters in that area. I was already going to be there in a couple of weeks. Why not pound that city hard? I knew I was closing on a deal. Right before I left, one seller called me from a letter. Then when I'm there in St. Louis about to fly out, another seller called me from a letter, and I went and I drove. It was 5 hours in a snowstorm, showed up, met the guy. Within an hour, he said, you know, I have 2 people chomping at the bit to buy this deal. I've been talking to him for over a year. However, I called you yesterday, you showed up today, and I'm not gonna sell to anybody else until we figure out whether we have a deal or not. I've heard this. I've had this happen to me time and time and time again. Harvey, met him at breakfast. This was another property a student found, okay? We all fly out there. Guy said he wanted over $2 million. We're like, we can't pay over like 1-2. Sat him down at breakfast, explained everything, educated him, and then sure enough, by the end of breakfast, he said, you know what? I really like you guys. I'm not gonna do business with anybody else until we decide whether we have a deal or not. Gary was a gentleman that he was getting offers for around 2.4, very similar price point. We were around 1.4, and he was getting them in the mail all the time. And we said, yeah, but Gary, we're meeting you in person. How many people have showed up to your facility? He said 0. Cool. Meeting number 2. Hey, Gary, here we are again. Let me go through the underwriting and educate you on why there's no way that even if you're getting offers at 2.4, they're not serious. Have they shown up? No, nobody's shown up. Okay, he's like, but I got another letter today. Okay, cool. Have they ever seen your property? No. Okay, cool. Let me run you through the underwriting and show you why there's no way anybody can pay this much for your facility. We educate them, we build rapport, we have a great, respectful conversation, and by the end of it, they understand, okay, cool. I get where you're coming from. You're real. I understand what you're saying, and you're right. Nobody else has actually showed up that's giving us these offers. Time and time again, Rick call a cold calling owner. He's like, I'm not giving you anything. You got to show up. Cool. My partner will be there in a week. Is that all right? Cool. We show up. We get the deal. Sheila, we had to make an offer without saying anything. And then we made an offer, and then we kept in touch, and then we flew out. It's just building relationships. I can rattle this off over and over again. Guys, verbatim, they like us. We're actually real people. And then we're also building their trust, letting them know, educating them, showing them that we mean this, we do this. And, a lot of my students leverage my portfolio. Essentially, if you're in my StorageLife community, we're working together. So it's okay if you're like, my partner owns and operates in 8 states. We have capital in place. We're looking to deploy as much as we can into the asset class, whatever. You're building an image and a trust with a seller, letting them know that you're serious, you can close, and you're doing what most of the investors aren't doing. There's no secrets to this game. I talked to one of the best operators I know in the country a couple days ago. We had a little talk in the morning. He said their KPIs are showing that every 3 to 5 years is the average of what it takes a seller to follow up that says they're ready to sell. Sure, we all want the one-off, hey, they're ready now, right time, right place. That does happen, but a lot of times it's sellers coming back to us. They're never going to come back to you if you haven't built enough rapport. I tell all of my community members this. If you haven't built enough rapport where you know that your name and number is saved in their cell phone, if you don't know that it's saved in their cell phone, then you haven't built enough rapport. Think about that. When that seller goes to sell, they're like, oh, I remember Cameron. Yeah, here he is. They're calling you. You've built a relationship with. It's easy to think that we want to try this out, this self-storage pursuit, and see if it works. And if it does, great. That's a short-term mentality. Think about the long-term approach of this. In the next 5 to 10 years, do you want to leverage self-storage to create financial freedom for yourself, for your spouse, for your family, for your kids? How bad do you want this? Are you serious? Do you really want to do this? Do you want to make millions of dollars in self-storage? Do you? If you do, you have to do what most are not doing. I'm going to pivot real quick. The community side of things, hanging out with my community today. It's going to be 40 people in a room. We're going to be spending 16 hours together, jam-packed with storage, right? Let's say you want to qualify for the Olympics. Obviously, you have to be a good athlete, but imagine if you just started training on your own. And then instead, imagine if you actually went and started training with Olympians. You're going to work harder than you've ever worked in your life. Have you ever seen like the competitive swimmer, what it takes to qualify for the Olympics? How much they're swimming? 2 a day, 3 a day. They're in the water all the time. It's so crazy. But when you expose yourself to the room, to the people that are doing what it takes, that have already made it, you understand what it takes. My community, when they see what my team's doing, what I'm doing, what my partners are doing, what my students are doing that are successfully doing deal after deal after deal, they understand we are pounding the pavement consistently, building relationships. We're in it for the long run. We're not in it for the short run. Let's say I come out of the gate, I'm a new investor, and I find one deal, and maybe I found another deal, and I get lucky. Or maybe it comes from somebody I know, whatever. Fine, you found 1 or 2 deals, but you're not going to be able to scale as much as you'd like to unless you start planting seeds and start playing the game like a mature, long-term investor that you know that over the course of your career, you just are going to build relationships. Where? At conferences, at ISS, in communities like StorageLife or other storage communities, with brokers, with wholesalers, with sellers, with owners, with integrity, with sincerity, with passion. You're going to build these relationships. These relationships are going to create your career. So I invest in education all the time. I've always had a coach. I invest in conferences. I invest in relationships. I invest in plane tickets. I invest in books, you name it, right? Investing in yourself, investing in your relationships, it's critical, it's key. You can get lucky once, you can get lucky twice, but in order to get the opportunity it takes to actually close a deal, you have to be doing and be willing to do what most aren't. Again, the commitment of really going above and beyond. I'm telling you guys what it takes. This is what it takes. Obviously, I have a system I've built over many years that I fine-tuned, but regardless, it's just the consistency of the relationship game. Guys, hope this helps. Thanks for joining on. We'll see you next week. Good luck. Peace.